This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Breaking news overnight, President Biden announcing he is running for re-election in 2024. He did so with this re-election campaign video that was posted on Twitter. We'll have more on the president's announcement coming up here in just a moment.
Nike co-founder Phil Knight and his wife just announced a huge investment for the historic Albina neighborhood.
I'm wondering, how does that mean they're trying to bring us back? Are they going to build affordable housing? What does that mean?
We will tell you what we know about their Rebuild Albina project.
Having one more pool of employees to pull from is very helpful at this point in the restaurant industry.
That is the owner of Charlie's Deli in Old Town talking about a city-backed program that helped him find workers without costing him a dime. We're going to tell you more about that program here at 5:15.
Okay, y'all, who likes pie?
I like pie.
I love pie. And I love Banning's. They are old school. They are on Pacific Highway in Tigard. The official name, Banning's Restaurant and Pie House. Yep. They reopened yesterday after a fire back in January. Photographer Eric Patterson is there live this morning, looking good. Not only do they have pies, but if you like omelets, waffles, country fried steak, oh yeah, I'm sure there's gravy with that and a whole lot more. We're going to be taking a look around this morning, so stay tuned.
I'm going to ask you, Rod Hill, to start things off on this Tuesday morning. If you had a choice between a birthday cake and a birthday pie.
That's not even a question.
Pie, right? Yeah. And you?
Oh, I'm a tradition with the cake.
Okay.
But I do love pie.
All right. Anyway, we got that out of the way. Now we get into the forecast. Let's dive. Oh, yes.
At my wedding, we had a pie buffet. We did.
Buffet?
A buffet. We had the table with just all these pies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was on the buffet table, meanwhile?
Buffet.
We had those little hot dogs on the buffet table. All right. Here we go. You can see the Pioneer Courthouse. This morning we are dry. We have partly cloudy skies up top. 45 is the temperature. Well, starting today, everything is about the temperature forecast because nothing else will be going on. Plenty of sunshine's coming, 55. Today we warm it up to 67. Still looks like we could go all the way up into the 80s by Friday. That forecast is coming up.
All right, Rob, we'll check back in with you here in a few minutes, but right now we do have some local breaking news to get to. A stretch of Southeast 82nd Avenue between Causey and Monterey is closed for an investigation after Clackamas County deputies and Portland police officers shot and killed an alleged homicide suspect. This happened just last night around 11 o'clock on Southeast 82nd, right near the Clackamas Town Center. The sheriff's office says they were chasing a suspect. The car crashed, and at some point, deputies and officers both shot at the suspect. We don't know if that suspect had a gun or not. The Clackamas County Major Crimes Unit is now investigating.
President Biden has officially announced he is running for re-election. That news coming down just 2 hours ago. After weeks of speculation, he launched his 2024 campaign with a video titled Freedom, along with the slogan, "Let's finish the job." Today at an event in Washington, D.C., the president will talk about his investments in manufacturing and job creation. Here's NBC's Bree Jackson.
So if you're with me,
it's official.
That's why I'm running for re-election.
Sources tell NBC News, finish the job will be a key theme of Mr. Biden's re-election campaign.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred.
The president building upon the central theme of his 2020 campaign, battle for the soul of the nation. Even before making an official announcement, the president's top political foe weighed in. In a lengthy statement, former President Donald Trump blames Biden for record numbers of immigrants crossing the southern border illegally and for inflation hurting American families' finances, setting up a potential Biden-Trump rematch, something our latest NBC News poll shows most voters do not want. Nor do they want Mr. Biden to run again.
But if he's the front runner, then he's the one I'm going to vote for.
Donald Trump is so much worse. If there was somebody younger and sharper running for president for the Democrats, I would probably prefer them over Joe Biden.
Mr. Trump's support among the GOP is growing despite being indicted on charges of falsifying business records. 68% of Republicans say the charges are politically motivated. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Back to local news this morning. Today is the last day to register to vote in next month's Multnomah County special election. Ballots were scheduled to go out tomorrow, but more than 550,000 of them need to be reprinted because of a mistake. Election officials say all the ballots included a race for District 3 County Commissioner, but that race should have only appeared on ballots for people who live in that district. The county says the reprints will cost more than $300,000, adding that the county will use budget savings and a contingency fund to pay for that cost. All ballots will now be mailed out by next Tuesday. So if you do need to register or simply update your address, you can do so by going to OregonVotes.gov/register. Again, you must register today in order to vote in that special election next month on May 16th. There's also a special election in Clark County happening today. Voters will decide whether or not to approve or reject two replacement levies, one for the Washougal School District and another for the Woodland School District. At this point, you can only register to vote in person. Ballots have to be postmarked with today's date or dropped off at the ballot box by 8 o'clock tonight. For more details, you can head to the Clark County Elections website that you see there on the screen.
The Oregon Department of Transportation is reminding campaigns it will remove political signs near state highways. In a press release sent out yesterday, ODOT says the right-of-way near highways are only for official traffic signs. ODOT says any other markings could distract drivers and block road safety messages. Political signs you can see from the highway on private property are fine, but there are size requirements and rules about flashing lights and accepting money to display those signs. You can head to Oregon.gov/ODOT/row for more details.
Nike co-founder Phil Knight and his wife Penny are investing $400 million to help revitalize Northeast Portland's Albina neighborhood. This is a landmark investment that Phil Knight says will support current and future generations of Black Portlanders.
But as KGW's Blair Best tells us, some people are skeptical that the money will actually help.
I feel connected to this area.
In the Albina neighborhood, Ramon Lowe's roots run deep.
I mean, I have a relative that's one of the people up on top of this building. I have an uncle that's on the Black Panther thing over there. I was born at that hospital. I went to that school.
And while it's the community where he once felt most at home, it's now become a part of Portland he hardly recognizes.
They've moved most of us out. It was historically predominantly Black neighborhood of growing up. Most of us have moved out.
Because of the cost of housing, Lowe says, along with development projects like I-5 and Legacy Emmanuel Medical Center he points to, that have forced Black families and businesses to the city's outskirts.
It makes me feel displaced, disheartened. You know, I can't be in this neighborhood. People look at me now like, what are you doing over here?
It's a feeling Nike's co-founder Phil Knight and his wife Penny are aiming to reverse by investing a historic $400 million into the neighborhood. At a private gathering Monday afternoon, they announced their plan to create the Rebuild Albina project to transform current and future generations of Black Portland, they say, by investing in education, cultural art, and projects to strengthen the community's roots. Knight saying in a statement, quote, "I have long believed in the community of Portland. Some of my most important memories are connected to the east side of Portland, including in Lower Albina."
Years ago, Phil Knight was behind the opening of the Albina Nike community store here off MLK, where some of the profits went back into the neighborhood. But it's been closed for months now due to theft, and it's not clear if it'll reopen as part of this project.
The money will be managed by a new group headed by Rukiah Adams, who grew up in Northeast Portland, who calls the investment unparalleled.
I'm wondering, how does that mean they're trying to bring us back? Are they going to build affordable housing? What does that mean?
And others, like former Nike employee Oscar Burrell, who still lives in Albina, echoed Lowe's skepticism.
I feel like it's a little late for it, and I don't feel it's genuine, if I would say. I feel like it's more so for their own, benefits and image versus the actual community and the actual people.
And believes the change his neighborhood needs runs much deeper.
We just want to be accepted and be respected as one. It's a lot more needed than, just putting some money into the neighborhood.
Give us back the identity that we built in this neighborhood.
Exactly the concerns this project's leaders say they hope to address. In North Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
The point of the project, again, or the point of that package, I think is worth repeating. Money does not solve all the problems, but certainly it's needed to take care of some of those projects they've talked about in the Albina neighborhood. And I can think of the Phil Knight Cancer Center has been one example of him putting money back into this community, this being another. So it is a start, at the very least.
And Ruqaiya grew up there, so she does have ties to that community.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see as it moves along.
Yeah. Do you guys miss it yet? The rain I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Well,
what's it been? 12 hours?
I'm worried about myself because it's day one of no active weather and I'm already feeling a little bored. So I thought I would tell you or point out how far away is the rain. 625 miles you would have to drive over into Utah or Wyoming to find some precipitation this morning. We are all dry. We have a big high setting offshore, what we call a flattened flow as forecasters, and these cold fronts are just kind of laying down on top of us, almost like a roof, if you will. But even these clouds will start arcing and flowing more up to our north in the coming days as our weather pattern gets warmer and warmer. There's the dry weather. It's kind of hard to see on the infrared satellite picture, but we do have a mixture of some low cloudiness here on the west side of Washington and Oregon. The upper flow patterns, here's the big ridging pattern. See how it kind of arcs up around us, the warmer colors of yellow and green. That's Friday, and Friday comes with an east wind. That's the day that we could see record highs in the area in the 80s, and then back here, this next shot of cooler weather is with a front that the models seem to be growing confidence will arrive on Sunday. That would bring a rapid cool off and lead us into some showers. We are generally partly cloudy out there right now. It's comfortable. Temperatures are seasonal, 45 degrees out at the airport. There are a few spots that have slipped into the 30s this morning. In fact, Salem now showing 38. There's Newport at 37. It is freezing when you hop over into Bend, 30 degrees there. John Day also setting at 30 degrees this morning. Well, in the coming days, the weather will be all about the forecast temperatures, and this shows 66 in McMinnville, Salem, and Corvallis. West winds 5 to 15. Some early cloudiness around, otherwise a mostly sunny day coming. Similar numbers up through southwest Washington. In fact, Longview 66, Battle Ground and Vancouver 67 degrees. Here they come, the numbers. These haven't changed much over the past couple of days. 67 today. Remember, the warmest we've been so far this year is 68. We could do that. 75 tomorrow will easily become the first 70-degree day of 2023 for the Rose City. 78 on Thursday. We get that east wind. 84 would break the current record for Friday's date of 82. Saturday, still 80. We start to get into south wind flow ahead of a Sunday front, 62, and showers and 58 degrees on Monday. So, Devin, if you are missing the rain, it comes back on Sunday, so don't freak out on me, sir.
Oh, good. I don't have to go for a 625-mile drive. All right, so let's keep it local. Small businesses struggling from the pandemic are getting some help from a city-backed nonprofit. Coming up, we'll tell you about Here for Portland and the milestone they just crossed. More on that in just a few minutes right after this break.